see in front of me here one of the most common bolts we sell on the tvtrade.ie website. It's a coach screw and a plastic plug here. Basically what we're doing here is we use this 10mm drill bit here to drill a hole in a wall, and we come along, we push in the plastic plug, and the next thing we use this coach screw to bolt in something like this sky bracket here, which you can see. We'd have 4 holes we drill, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come along, put in the plug, bolt, and bolt it into position. Alternatively, we could use it to mount something like this H bracket here. It's the same basic process. This bracket for me would be a little bit heavy for this, but if it was a very lightweight, you were going on something like a very small area that was going right here, possibly possible to do it, or you could alternatively use some of the more heavy bolts that we stock. These bolts here, you can buy them individually, which the DIY people will normally do, but people in the trade will invariably buy them in bags of 100 because it's simply cheaper to buy them that way. We would sell hundreds of thousands of these plugs and bolts here. Very, very big item for us, simply because every single satellite dish in the country, I would say almost without exception, is mounted with this. The only other, we have some professional installers who use things like the thunder screws here, but that's unusual enough. So I'm just going to, when you're, use a 13mm spanner or socket to drive this home, okay? So it's a relatively, it's a relatively good product and it's been well tested. Accessory products that we sell inside the bolt range here would include, we'll say, we have eye bolts here which we can use for tie cables, things like this, with thunder screws here, and also we have shield anchor. We have both the loose bolts here, which mean the bolt can unscrew, and also we have the projecting bolts here to say the bolt goes into the wall, we put the bracket on, and then we put the nut back on to lock it into position. And we've also a sleeve anchor here, which is sort of like a cheaper version of it, and they're relatively good as well. These bolts here are generally more expensive and more specialist use, and they're generally used, we'll say, with heavier bracketry, things like this. We also have a pretty extensive range of SDS drill bits, and we have just the ones here that we use with bolts displayed, but we also have drill bits up to the length of 1 meter long. So that's part of our comprehensive range of bolts and accessories. But that's the end of the video we have here on coach screws and plugs.